Wednesday, Commodore is going. We are going again. We're gonna shoot at everything that moves. What's up, people from the tube? Welcome back to another Pancho Things. Today I have an interesting video. Is two terrible hunts that are the foundation of future success. Let's get started. As I said, and as you see in the title of the video, I'm gonna go over a few clips of two different hunts that were completely atrocious. So I'm gonna play you a clip of the hunt on Wednesday, and Commodore is with me. Edit at the end of the season, my worst hunt of the year, and for sure this one is gonna be there. So on the parking lot, before I got to my pool on this hunt, the only other person that was hunting two pools away from me, when I was talking to this person, well, in the parking lot, was just getting dressed, getting ready to move all the gear and whatever. One of the things that we agreed on was, well, let's not be those guys that ruin the hunts for everybody else and just shoot to the birds that are actually within range. And he explains that to him, within range is in front of him. And once somebody tells you that, so in my head I was like, oh, well, you know, that's fair. Let's try to abide by that law for today's hunt and stay there. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm a skybuster, but it means that I will try to keep my shots closer. Now, what is closer and what is far is what we're gonna talk about. Right, so let's go with this. Notice these birds. Let him go. Okay, first off, I have shot birds at that distance and even longer distance, and they're being down. Were they in front of me? No. Were they above me? Yes. Were they clearly could have been seen by the other pools? Yes. Actually, if you hear those shots that you hear, it's a pull down. So the birds kept going and they shot him. That kind of puts in my head, the first point was like, okay, what is considered skybusting to you versus what is considered skybusting to me? To me, skybusting is if I'm going through a bird that I know I can't reach. We're talking 80, 90, 100, 120 yards up there that you could easily try to work out and you take a shot. Now, is skybusting a suggestive for everybody? Everybody have their own opinion and their own gauge and range of skybusting, or it's actually a range where we all sit down? What is your opinion? Comment down below to all the season and new hunters. Comment down below what is your opinion when it comes to this, because this hunt, not anybody else, myself, I ruined this entire hunt for myself for abiding to try to work the birds down, trying to make sure that not to shoot a bird that is up there when I can try to work them down, or when I can easily try to make sure that we have a more clear shot of the bird. So that's the first instance. We are gonna move to what is pass shooting. To my understanding and to my base, pass shooting is when you're trying to intersect a bear between point A and point B. The next it's coming through. Look what happens next here. Those two and that one. Let's pause here. In a different scenario, all 3 of those birds wouldn't be shot at. More likely I would have hit 2 of them, for sure. Here's the deal. Once again, me reaching to those birds would have put me into that guy that no one wants to be, or if you want to be that guy, that's up to you, that is categorized as a skybuster. And that ruins the hunts for everybody. So, once again, this that you just saw, me letting these opportunities pass, I did all morning. And that's why I categorized that hunt as one of the worst hunts ever, because I ruined my own possibilities of shooting birds for having that seed in my head of what is ethical, what is not ethical. And I want to do this right, and I want to learn, and I want to be able to get out of this marsh with a limit one day and be like, okay, now I'm ready, now I know, now I'm going out there, let's start scouting crazy and going to different states, because at this point I don't have that much opportunities within the amount of distance that are drivable for me. So all of this is part of a process for my better success tomorrow. So let's keep moving on, because there's more instances where this happened on that hunt that Wednesday. There you go. Those birds, once again, those birds looks really far away on the GoPro, but they're not that far. Those birds, to me particularly, are in the 40 yard mark, which you guys have seen me shot birds at that distance, and I'm letting them pass. And I'm letting them pass once again, not because of him, not because the guy right next to me, it's because of me. Because now my head is processing, am I being ethical? Now, public land, and I hear people say this, and it's something that I need to learn on my own. Some things like this in public land are shots that you need to take. And the way that people explain it is like, if you don't take it, somebody else will. And everybody else, and that's what bugs me the most, I don't want to be like everybody else, are shooting at birds that are up there, man. That could easily be birds that I can work out, or the next guy can work out, or themselves, like if they're going above you, if you put enough calls and you know what you're doing, you might be able to work them out. But instead, I'm just letting all this stuff pass, because now I'm conflicted in my head of, if I do this and I take this shot, am I ruin this for this guy? You know? Yeah. So let's keep going. Keep streaming. There we go. Those birds are now really far. That one right there. Boom! Dead bird. Dead bird. And I let it pass. And it bugs me. And I get excited and I get worked up, because I truly care about this. I truly care about what I'm doing. I truly care on bringing a nice experience, 9 hunts to you guys, so you guys can see, sit, relax, enjoy it at home, or learn, or whatever case might be. But this, and as I said, I might edit this at the end of the season and put it on one of the worst hunts that I had. Now, what leads to success to me, and why I'm talking about success on a situation that is clearly terrible, is the fact, and I learned something because I've been thinking and I've been kicking myself in the neck since this hunt, which has been a week. I learned one thing. Being ethical is make sure you got clean shots. Make sure that you're not skybusting. Skybusting, to me, anything that goes beyond 50 yards is skybusting. One burst to decoy like everybody else, but it is what it is. When you get in situations like this, sometimes it's really difficult for those birds to decoy, and the reason being is the amount of pressure is insane. So it's one of those things that it is so easy to get wrapped up in your own head and end up ruining a hunt for yourself, you know? which is clearly what I did. I want to hear your comments. I want to know what other hunters will think out there. Where you guys sit when it comes to this, and what do you do in order to not let this kind of thing box you, or do you just go? You just go and just do you, or you look for also the experience of other people that are going to be around you, or you will sacrifice a hunt like this for an ethical point of view that clearly, due to the circumstances, could have been stretched. I don't know. So next I'm gonna go over the hunt last night. Now, Commodore didn't go. Commodore was on this hunt. We end up shooting one cinnamon teal, and we bore some of the retrieve. Yesterday, Commodore didn't go. Commodore and Marilyn both decided to get onto Only God Knows in the yard, and they end up getting diagnosed with pancreatitis. So thank you so very much to Dr. B, Dr. Yorek, Vivian, Kate, Wendy, all the staff at Monarchy Animal Hospital, Carlsbad. Thank you so very much for always taking care of my weirdos. They were in better shape than most, so doctor was confident enough to send me the medications and just keep them at home. In many cases with pancreatitis, those patients needs to be hospitalized. So they're doing fine now. Their run situation is over, and there's still some part of the medications going, but they're good now. So Commodore is going to be going hunting. These, just to let you know, this is not deterring me from going hunting. Yes, it's upsetting, and yes, it's annoying that this happens, and yeah, to me it's even worse because I had to put 6-hour drive just to make these kind of things happen, and just to do 6 hours drive for something like this get into your head, and boom, you go bananas and just let this entire hunt go. It is upsetting, but I'm learning, and I'm learning every day, and that's why I'm making this video. It's just for people that might struggle with this can see my point of view as well, and I can help you guys get this better, as well as seasoned hunters that might come across this video to help me understand and get a more clear view of what are the do's and don'ts, and when those do's and don'ts can be stretched for the circumstances that you might be in. You gotta remember, I'm a concrete guy. I'm a concrete city person. So I didn't grow up with a hunting background. All of these that I know, the little bit that I know, I have learned in 3 years of me doing this and going out there and just figuring it out. So I want to get that feedback, because that feedback is going to be the difference in between me having a successful hunt tomorrow or making this type of judgment and going home as one of the most sour lemons that there is. So we're gonna go next, as I said, to and I'm sorry this is getting too rambling, too crazy, but we're going next to the hunt yesterday, and we're gonna go over that. Yesterday I got there about 2:20 in the morning, and always in front of the check-in station there's always people, and a lot of them, they have a camping ground, so a lot of them stays there, and you get to get familiarized with certain faces and talk, and you know, dog hunting stories at 2 in the morning. So this gentleman, Eddie, and if your name is not Eddie, my brother, you're Eddie to me. So Eddie and I, we've seen each other for the last 3 seasons. Last season he didn't hunt because he got injured, but we've seen each other, and we always talk and just have fun. So he was doing a walk-in yesterday, just as I am. Eddie's there, and Eddie's like, hey man, we always talk, we always joke around. Why don't we hunt together? And I'm like, sure dude, like let's do this. The Wednesday video was in the same spot where I shot my first mallard. And I always show you guys on those videos, these birds landing on pools in front of me where nobody was shooting. This is one of those pools. So it was available. So we're like, hey, let's go there. What is the route? Now, because Eddie is injured, we'll also have to try to stay into a place where it's easily accessible and that there's not such a big walk. So we end up choosing this pond. I'm sorry for the background noise. Cremators is playing down here with his bone. So this is the second time that I actually hunt with somebody, and there's a lot of things that happens that I don't know how to manage them. So let's get at it. I'm calling a group of birds that went in front of me and trying to see if I can turn them around.
Guys, come on, come on. Here it comes. Ready. Smoking. There we go.
Okay, and I'm gonna pause here. This is the first instance when you have 2 or more shooters in a blind. What is the etiquette? So in my case, this is what I'm thinking, logical thinking. If I have a blind, if you can see, I'm not in the blind. Since it's so early and it's still dark, I put myself behind some reeds. Now we're in water to almost half knee. So I put myself into the reeds so I can have a better view and not having to be crouched down and sit down behind the blind. So I put myself behind those reeds. I am to the right. He has the left side, right? So when you have 2 or more people in the blind, does the etiquette tells that whoever is in the left will try to shoot the birds that are towards the left, and the people that are on the right will try to shoot the right birds? Or is a free for all and you shoot whatever you put in your sight? The reason why I say that is we tag team both of those ducks. Those ducks got shot twice each. And the last one, I shot my 3 shells, and if you see, I cracked, and I went for the third one, not even counting the fact that I just fired 3 shells, right? So my process of thinking is, would him have to follow the 2 that were last and me pop the first one that was already on the right side, or once again you just shoot and figure it out later? Write in the comments, because I've never been exposed to this. I never have shot a bird where other people have shot at, and having to figure out who shot the bird. Now Eddie, we were cool enough to just like whatever, each of us gets 1. But once again, it's one of those situations where, I don't know, that was the gray moment of the hunt, because after that it turned ugly, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. And once again, distance, sky busting gets in the picture.
Yeah, I see it.
This is a group of 2 pintails, and then they split.
Alright, there we go. Go.
Now we're having to call them harder because they're landing on a pool behind us. That you're gonna see that pool in a bit.
2 out, 2 out.
2 out, 2 out. Here's the deal, because I talked to Eddie after this. To me, that bird was 45 yards. I don't want to ruin his hunt because it's the first time that I'm hunting with him. If I shot at that bird without him calling the shot, or if I shoot at the bird, even that he mentioned the shot, and the second pintail would have been coming back, I would have just ruined the opportunity to shoot 2 pintails, which will be one for me, and he will shoot the other one. So once again, is a sky busting a perspective situation. Because clearly to him, we were free to go and shoot that thing. To me, I felt that we could have worked the bird down. And I tried to work the bird down, and the bird ended up flaring and disappearing just like the second pintail. So even until now, this hunt is somewhat acceptable. This next clip was what finished to ruin this hunt. A quick rundown of what's happening here. Eddie leaves at 10 o'clock, around 10 to 15. I stayed by myself, rearranged a couple of things, took my Mojos out, tried to see, let's turn this into an afternoon hunt. Might as well. 12 o'clock hit, and I'm getting extremely tired. And I'm like, you know what? There's nothing flying. I'm not going to be sitting here until 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I went there straight from work, so I'm overrun. I'm tired. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to slowly start packing. And if they start flying, then I'll sit down and we'll work. If not, I'll pack everything up and go home. As I'm picking up my decoys, a mallard from nowhere pops up. I look at him. He goes over me. And I had a perfect view on this bird. I gotta spin this bird around. I dive into the water, just literally with the water almost to my chest. Even though this is not deep, I'm literally crouched in the water right next to the ridge just so I can blend in, and I start calling. Now, once he turns, I click my GoPro on, and this is what happened. And boy, this got me going. I'm still going. I'm flying through the water, trying to get to this bird before anything else happens. The vegetation was extremely high. What you see, there's little pockets of water. I went through that entire area, covered 3 times the length of where the bird went, back and forward in circular motions, and I spun the circular motions until I got completely to the trees that I just had to cross through. Didn't find the bird. Extremely upsetting. And the second bird that I have seen that I can shoot the entire day. I spent 4.5 hours looking for that bird. 4.5 hours. To the point that I get to a levee 2 pools over, trying to find this bird. And it's extremely upsetting to lose birds more when you have been trying to shoot birds all morning. So I looked at everything and I didn't get out of the refuge until it was almost 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So why do I say that these kind of things are successful to me? is because I had lost only one bird. Besides this one, I have lost only one bird. And I'm always really careful with my shots. The reason why you didn't see a second follow-up shot is because right where I was in, which in the GoPro, once again, it looks farther out, but this thing was close. When I shot that Mallard, the bended one, when I shot it, and I hear the splash, and I rack my shotgun, put a new shell on it, and I stormed through the bushes. When I finished that shot, and I'm about to take a second shot, the bird is already going down, and all I got is brush. If I would have shot, one, more likely I wouldn't hit it, and two, I would have lost that shell. So what was the point? I had more of a point on just push through and trying to get to this bird as fast as possible, which didn't happen. So for me, the valuable lesson of this is, one, if I'm hunting this spot again, trust me, Commodore is gonna be there at least to help me trying to figure out where these birds are. Or case number two, once I hit the bird and I try to find him and I look at the position and everything, and I went through the camera and I went through everything, I realized one thing. And this one thing make me breathe for a second and not stop judging myself in the way that I've been doing. And I've been beating myself up for not being an ethical hunter, or because I'm doing things wrong, or because things are not happening the way they're supposed to happen, or because I'm losing birds, or because I'm sitting there all day. I'm the worst critic of myself, and I beat myself hard because, once again, when I do things, I do them all the way, and I try to make it as perfect as possible. There's never going to be a perfect scenario when you're dealing with a hunt. It's always going to be a learning curve, and there's always going to be something that is going to go wrong, or something that you're not expecting to happen. And that is part of the game. And one of the things that for me was beautiful about this disaster was the fact that every bird were part of a hunt, were part of a moment in my life, and a moment that is worth remembering and documenting and sharing with you. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I'm not gonna lie, I'm still frustrated with the whole situation on both hunts, and I'm still frustrated with myself for letting these situations to arise and happen. But now I know exactly what not to do and exactly what I need this dog to do. It also, hunting with other people is extremely amazing. Once I got to learn a lot of things from Eddie, passively, quietly analyzing, observing, and things that I didn't be exposed to or I didn't know. So I do appreciate those moments because it's nutrients that I'm taking to be a successful hunter in the future. And more importantly is this hunt, I didn't put that clip, but in this hunt, I missed 2 widgeons that decoyed it. They landed in my decoys and I missed them. But the fact that they decoyed in such a crazy environment where it's kind of difficult for a bird to decoy tells me that what I've been doing lately with my decoys is working. As far as losing birds, I know I'm gonna, in the future I might lose another bird, but the one thing that I know now about this is that, one, I need to have a dog that is ready to go, and that is trained hard enough that these situations will not arise, because that dog more likely dived on me in the process of me trying to go through that brush, and only God knows where did he dive. I know for a fact that dog didn't lift up again. That dog didn't fly because that dog went down, and he was down. Unfortunately, might have not been dead fully, and that's when you get into the situation. So what the beautiful and the successful part of this for me is that now I gotta for certain make sure that those birds are kill shots, that I need to go there. And when I'm in situations where there's this many reeds, or that I know that there's gonna be this many reeds, in this case I didn't know that this was the case, but if I know in the future that dog is gonna be there. The dog needs to be there. and he needs to be ready for this. And that actually does not fully guarantee you the success of you having a retrieval of the bird, but it maximizes my opportunities. So to me, these hunts are the key of success, and I'm gonna analyze them always. And yes, I'm gonna logically swallow that nasty flavor of being frustrated about these kind of situations, but always taking the best out of it and what I can learn from it. So please comment down below. Thank you so very much for watching these videos. Thank you so very much for sticking out. Thank you everybody else that has been subscribing to the channel. Your help means a lot. If you like this video, like, subscribe, share, click the notification bell so you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. And I will see you in the next one. And next one is Wednesday. Commodore is going. We are going again. We're gonna shoot at everything that moves, and we're gonna put birds down, and we're gonna bring them home, and we're gonna talk about it. And I'm gonna show you guys all of that. These bad hunts, I'm gonna edit them at the end of the season. I just made that commitment now. I'm gonna edit them at the end of the season, and I'm gonna make a compilation of all my bad hunts of the season, as well as the great hunts. There's great hunts, there's bad hunts. It is what it is. This is gonna go for a chunk of time here, and we are gonna take you guys along on the great times, also on the ugly ones. Thank you so very much. Pancho out.